Have you ever wondered how our ancestors navigated vast terrains without GPS or Google Maps? Yes, you are right. They relied on something far more intricate and symbolic than today's digital coordinates. Maps. But were maps more than just tools for navigation? What stories do these ancient maps tell about forgotten empires, mythical lands, and undiscovered treasures? And importantly, how did ancient cartographers capture the essence of their world? And what secrets were they trying to preserve for future generations? Well, join us as we unravel the ancient parchment mysteries and unlock the hidden knowledge encrypted within these time-worn artifacts. In our modern era, with GPS and Google Maps at our fingertips, it's easy to forget the world our ancestors once navigated. A world vastly different from today. Graham Hancock, a renowned explorer of ancient mysteries, suggests that, as a species, we suffer from amnesia, having forgotten our roots and origins. He delves into the idea that our society invests significant resources in keeping us lost, promoting a state of unconsciousness where we become passive consumers and producers, oblivious to profound questions about our existence. Now let's transport ourselves back 21,000 years to a world vastly different from the one we know today. The contemporary concerns of global warming and climate change fade away when we journey back in time. At that time, colossal ice caps covered the major land masses, creating a world alien to our modern sensibilities. Picture a 2-mile deep ice cap enveloping New York City, or an ice cap larger than Antarctica, blanketing northern Europe. The Earth, then, was an extraordinary canvas of ice and water, with coastlines and continents dramatically reshaped. The transformation wasn't a gradual process, but often a cataclysmic one. The Earth at its last glacial maximum, 21,300 years ago, bore little resemblance to our present-day planet. There were no familiar outlines, no Red Sea, no Arabian Gulf, and a vastly extended Indian coastline. Southeast Asia emerged as a complete continent, and Sri Lanka connected seamlessly to the tip. Astonishingly, 10 million square miles of land, equivalent to the combined area of Europe and China, stood above water at that time, only to be submerged as the Earth underwent profound transformations. Glacial lakes formed atop these colossal ice caps, accumulating for thousands of years before bursting forth in explosive floods. Imagine a surge of water, reaching speeds of 1,000 kilometers an hour, tearing across the land, reshaping the landscape, and causing a sudden 30 to 40-foot rise in sea levels. This occurred not once, but twice during the last ice age. Within the span of about 10,000 years, the ancient world experienced these cataclysmic events that forever altered the face of the Earth. Such monumental shifts challenge our understanding of the stability of our world, urging us to contemplate the resilience of past civilizations and their ability to adapt to profound transformations. Now we have traditions, myths, and stories from around the world, all echoing a common theme, an all-destroying global flood. Often academics tend to dismiss these stories as mere imaginative elaborations of local floods. However, there's an alternative perspective to consider, one rooted in the reality of global floods that occurred at the end of the last ice age. The story of Atlantis, often dismissed as a product of Plato's imagination, holds a curious connection to real-world events. Plato attributes this tale to his relative Solon, who, in turn, claimed to have learned it from the ancient Egyptians. According to Plato, Atlantis met its catastrophic end 9,000 years before Solon's time, that is, around 11,600 years ago. Skeptics argue that Plato fabricated the story, but the timing coincides remarkably with the peak of the last ice age meltdown, marked by global flooding and seismic activity. Beyond Atlantis, flood myths are scattered across diverse cultures. In India, it's the story of Manu, the Indian Noah, saved by Vishnu from a flood. In Greece, we find the tale of Deucalion and Pyrrha, a couple who regenerated mankind after surviving a flood. The Maya, too, share a story of the last world age's end, aligning with their cyclical concept of time. Even the Bible tells the story of Noah, and tracing its origins leads us to the ancient Sumerians and the Epic of Gilgamesh. To understand the roots of Noah's story, we journey to Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq. The Epic of Gilgamesh, nearly 5,000 years old, tells a narrative parallel to the biblical flood account. In this tale, one man receives a warning from the gods about an impending flood, mirroring the biblical narrative of Noah. Examining the Arabian Gulf, where the Gilgamesh epic originated, paints a vivid picture of the past. At the last glacial maximum, this region was a lush garden of Eden, nourished by the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. However, around 12,000 years ago, a rapid flooding event transformed the entire Arabian Gulf. The once heavenly landscape submerged beneath the waters, offering a tangible explanation for the flood myths originating from this region. Australia, too, carries ancient memories of global floods. Aboriginal traditions, rooted in a history spanning 50,000 years, speak of a great flood serpent devouring the land. Although shrouded in symbolic language, these myths align with the environmental transformations witnessed at the end of the last ice age. In unraveling these mysteries over the past 2 decades, one recurring theme emerges. These global flood stories might not merely be myths. Instead, they could be remnants of ancient memories imprinted in the collective consciousness of humanity. Now, as we delve into the fascinating realms of antiquity, a mysterious puzzle unfolds: the enigma of ancient maps. These maps, dating from the 13th to the 17th centuries, depict a world vastly different from today, dating back to the last ice age. What adds to the intrigue is that these maps were not original creations, but copies of even older source maps, often lost to time. The detailed features etched on these ancient maps seem to capture a world that existed around 20,000 to 15,000 years ago, showcasing a level of map-making technology that challenges our understanding of history. One of the remarkable mysteries lies in the Ptolemaic maps, such as the TO maps from the 7th century in Spain. While aesthetically pleasing, they were far from practical for navigation. Yet, at the end of the 13th century, a wave of new maps flooded into Europe, seemingly born out of nowhere. Among these were the Ptolemaic maps, renowned for incorporating incredibly precise latitudes and longitudes, a feat quite remarkable for their time. The inclusion of such accurate longitudes is particularly perplexing, considering that our civilization only mastered longitude calculations in the late 18th century. Latitude measurement, achievable by observing the sun or stars, is relatively straightforward, but longitude demands advanced technology. Could these precise longitudes be a heritage from an earlier, technologically advanced civilization? Another set of intriguing maps stems from the Portolan tradition, exemplified by the Pisan chart from 1280. These maps displayed not only artistic beauty, but also a high level of accuracy in depicting latitudes and longitudes. Charles Hapgood suggests that this tradition traces back to ancient sea kings, possibly through a predecessor of Ptolemaic mapmaker Marinus of Tyre. These maps, lost during the Dark Ages, re-emerged at the end of the 13th century when Crusaders took them from Constantinople, introducing them once again to the world. Perhaps one of the most baffling elements on these ancient maps is the presence of Antarctica, a continent that our modern civilization didn't discover until the early 19th century. Maps from the 1500s and 1600s, including the famous Piri-Reis map from 1513, featured detailed depictions of Antarctica. This leads to a puzzling question. How did cartographers, centuries before the continent's official discovery, accurately portray Antarctica's coastlines and topography? The mystery deepens when we compare these historical maps with later depictions where Antarctica is notably absent, reflecting the limited knowledge of the time. To comprehend this mystery, we must acknowledge the possibility that these ancient maps drew upon even earlier source maps that might trace back to a civilization predating our own. Hapgood's research suggests that the accuracy of these maps indicates a level of sophistication in exploration and map-making that challenges our conventional understanding of ancient civilizations. The exploration doesn't end there. Ancient maps reveal islands like High Brazil and strange formations of the British Isles that challenge our perceptions. High Brazil, once sought after by explorers, vanished from maps because it wasn't a mythical island. It was a landmass submerged around 13,000 years ago due to lower sea levels. The Piri-Reis map, showcasing an island near Bimini, reveals formations similar to the Bimini Road, suggesting that ancient maps might hold clues to submerged landscapes. Now, what are your thoughts on these ancient maps and the stories they might tell? Do you believe there could be a lost civilization with advanced mapping technology in our distant past? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to our channel for more.